and welcome. So today we're going to meet Dax. So today we're going to be talking about care for older rats. So rats only live about 2 to 3 years. They're considered seniors, honestly younger than a year and a half, but I consider them seniors at a year and a half. And then they become elderly or geriatric around 2. So I have a lot of older rats right now. I have Sailor, who's going to be 3 in a few weeks. And then I have Ducky and Dorothy, who are going to be 2.5 in a few weeks. And then I have this entire cage, which is, they're all a few months shy of 2. And then I have the Weather Girls, who are a year and a half. So I currently have a lot of seniors and 3 geriatric, 1 severely geriatric rats. So yeah, I thought we'd talk about it a little bit. So yeah, there's not too much you need to do in order to take care of older rats different from younger rats. But there is a handful of things, certain things that can go wrong, specifically in older rats. Like there's a whole host of common rat ailments that I can go over in a different video, because those don't necessarily affect just older rats. It can happen to younger rats as well. But let's start with older rats. So yeah, around a year and a half, it's very common for females to get mammary gland tumors. It is like a senior rat issue, and those are pretty simple. You just take them into the vet, you get them removed. I have a lot of videos on my channel of doing surgeries with my rats, including several tumor removals, I believe. Most of them are space, admittedly, most of them are space. But there's at least one video about tumor removals, and that's with Cappy's girls. But beyond that, there is also their diet. So should you change their diet? And the answer is it depends. If you're feeding them a pelleted food like oxbow, you can't really change their diet at all, because that's it. That is the food. But if you have them on a mix, like a Shunammite mix, you should change their diet to be kidney friendly, which basically means less protein. So baby rats need a higher percentage of protein. I believe it's 18 to 20% protein. And then once they're out of the kitten stage, which is around 16, it's like Dax, hey. Once they're out of the kitten stage, which is between 12 and 16 weeks, depending on how quickly they grow up, they can have up to 14% protein, and it's fine. And then once they hit seniorhood, you want to lower it down to about 12% or a little lower. There's like a little range, but you want it to be less protein because it's easier on the kidneys. Now, all of my rats aren't a kidney friendly diet. The younger ones can have more protein, but like it's not bad for an adult rat that's over 16 weeks old to have the kidney friendly diet. They don't need that extra 2% of protein. It's just like a little wiggle room, basically. So all of my rats are on a kidney friendly diet, and when I have babies, I just give them extra protein on the side, and that helps them grow big and strong, or big and strong in Lamb and Suitor's case. Curtains is puny. She is a tiny thing. But anywho, and the reason you want to do that, and the reason kidney friendly diets are important for seniors, is because of something called HLD or HED, depending on your preference, which is hind leg degeneration or hind end degeneration. And that's where a rat basically slowly goes paralyzed from the back up, the legs up their body. And so hind leg degeneration can be caused by arthritis as well, but it is more attributed to kidney, like the kidneys starting to fail a little bit. And you can manage this. You can't cure it. You can't like walk back on the paralysis, unfortunately. But you can manage it and try and prevent it from getting worse with something called apacatin, which is this. You give them a pinch of this on their food every day, and it helps to bind the proteins and stop the degeneration from crawling further and further up their body, basically. It slows it down. It doesn't fully stop it, admittedly, but it can help. Like my girl Sailor, who, like I said, is going to be 3 soon. She's been on Apacatin since June of 2023, and it's only recently that her hind leg degeneration has started to get like bad enough that we're now monitoring quality of life. Before this, it wasn't necessary, but now I do feel like it is. And I do feel like giving her this supplement has helped a lot. Now, it can also be caused by arthritis, as I said. You can manage that with pain medication. What you do not want to do is, and you probably have seen this on some posts in Facebook groups or on social media, where people have made a wheelchair for their rats. You do not want to strap your rat into a wheelchair. I know it can like feel good to see them moving around again during free roam, but it isn't safe or kind to the rat to put them in the wheelchair, especially if it's like something like arthritis, because you're manipulating their legs and their hips and their joints in a way that they can't prevent or stop you from doing, and it's going to hurt a lot. And then if you have a rat with hind leg degeneration, you're still like twisting their body in a way that isn't going to be comfortable and strapping them onto a device that they don't understand, and they're not going to appreciate that. And then to top it off, this is only really helpful during free roam, and they're going to be so stressed that they're not going to enjoy it. So you can't use it in the cage because it would be dangerous. You shouldn't use it during free roam because it's stressful and can still be dangerous to your rat. So I know it's tempting, like you see the wheelchairs and you're just like, it's tempting to want to help your rat out, but I highly do not recommend doing that. Your best option if your rat has issues with their back legs is to modify the cage. You want to pack it as tightly as you can with things. You want to fill every hole and every crevice. I'm looking at this cage, sorry. It's not even like that like tightly packed, but what you want to do is make sure that if they are climbing their cage, they can do it safely. They have plenty of climbing options, and that if they fall, they have something to catch them so that they don't go from the top of the cage to the bottom of the cage. Now, hopefully you already have it pretty packed to ensure that that doesn't happen, but if you don't, pack it tighter. Like, the best option is to keep them moving those legs, to keep them exercising, and to try and keep that muscle strong while giving them supplements. Another supplement you can give, by the way, is also flaxseed oil. You can just sprinkle it on their food. They love it. Every one of my rats goes nuts for flaxseed oil. So that is a good option in my opinion. Another thing that can happen a lot with older rats is they can just start to lose weight. You know, sometimes it has nothing to do with their health. They just kind of start to decline gradually, and part of that is losing weight. And there are some options for this. You can order online or make a soakable mix or a weight up mix yourself. That's what I do, is I make my own mix. Here are my ingredient lists for the soakable mix and the weight up mix. You can also just give them extra treats like baby food, that kind of stuff. You want it to try and still make it kidney friendly. You don't want to give them like too much protein, too much meat, that kind of thing, because it can counteract their other overall health if you do that. So another thing that older rats can get a lot is they can lose a lot of fur. This is doubly worse for Rexes, double Rexes. I don't know about Velveteens, maybe Velveteens, I'm not entirely sure. I've never personally had one, but they do lose fur. It can also happen with standard coats. And there's not much you can do about this. It's not a problem for them, but if you live in a colder climate, just put more warm, cozy things into their cage, like more fleece, more crinkle paper bedding, more nesting material, so that they can gather it all into a nest, go into it, and trap their warmth and be all cozy, warm and stuff. And the last thing I want to talk about is with male rats specifically. So I've mentioned this before in the difference between males and female rats video, and that is that males get something called a penis plug. And it's when a sick or elderly male rat is incapable of grooming themselves, and they just get a little clogged up down there. And you have to take care of it because it's painful, it's uncomfortable, and it does prevent them from being able to comfortably and easily urinate. So yeah, you just kind of, what you would do is you have to remove it, basically. So you just pick them up, you put a little pressure on either side of I'm not going to do it with my boys, they would hate me. It's not necessary, so I'm not going to do it. But you just pick them up, put a little pressure on either side of their penis to make it unsheathe, and then you take a Q-tip and you gently remove the plug. It is that easy. It's not pleasant, I know, but they will be fine. They will forgive you. But yeah, I'm going to end this video by giving Sailor an M&M because Sailor is very old and I love her and I want her to have an M&M. So, enjoy that. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, you know what to do. All the fun stuff down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!